Hello everybody, Reggie Time here again with another instalment of my vlog. It happens to be the second, but we're just going to introduce them as another instalment because I think what I'm going to do going forward is this kind of thing, this kind of video once per week, then just weird sporadic videos whenever I feel like it. Who knows, might be a hand that I want to look at, might be a live play session, could be anything, but we're going to be doing these reviews every Monday, hopefully, and then maybe something through the week, maybe not sure yet. Concentrating a lot more on grinding and a little bit more on coaching, not as much as I would have liked, because unfortunately 2 or 3 of the people who contacted me saying they wanted coaching, I spent a lot of time chatting with them, talking with them, etc. And 2 of them have basically come along and said that they don't want to take it up anymore. They're just like, the Christmas has come in, they want to withdraw in the role or whatever, they're playing for Christmas. Another guy just said he couldn't really afford it, and then one guy just hasn't been back in touch. It's kind of unfortunate when my time gets wasted like that, because I spend a good bit of time. Anyone who's worked with me will know I spend quite a decent bit of time chatting with people beforehand to make sure I'm right for them, they're right for me, and it's disappointing when that happens, but it has. So if anyone else is watching and thinks, you know what, I wouldn't mind a session or 3 sessions or 5 sessions with Reggie, then I have some vacancies, because I wanted to take on 5 or 6 people. Turns out I've only taken on 3 people, so there's room for 3 more, or more than 3 more, but at least 3 more, because of those people who've let me down. Anyway, before we get into it, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all that. We're well over 1,000 now. Happy days, never going to mention it again until we get close to, hopefully sometime in the future, 2,000. Without further ado, this is my week. It's been a funny old week. 22,000 hands, so I'm really happy with the volume. I had quite the hiatus from Wednesday to Friday where I don't think I played a single hand, mostly because I was bogged down with a little bit of Manflu, and I didn't want to play late into the night or in the morning when I woke up because I felt grotty. I had 2 days in work that I had to go into work with, and I just didn't have the energy to play poker, or mental or physical, so I just didn't bother playing. That's the beauty of not being a full-time poker player, is we can just take time off sick, it doesn't matter. And also the Ashes started, the cricket, England versus Australia, and that's certainly eaten into my grind time too. So given that's only really probably 5 to 5.5 days maximum play, I'm really happy with the volume. Results are pretty crap, to be honest with you. I'm not that happy with the results. We only won $54 over 22,000 hands, which is fucking derisory for a win rate of 1.58. Should have won 3.17 at EV, but even so, you know, it's nothing special. There's been a mix of 6 max and full ring in there. Obviously, to have that level of volume, we've played a lot of Zoom, fast fold. Not that into it, to be honest with you. I think that could be why my results are slightly worse, just because the games are much more reggy and much more reggy invested and tough. I'm starting to... My last session was really quite positive. I made a few changes to my games, namely just play more aggressively in spots, playing draws much more aggressively, playing made hands much more aggressively, and not being quite so... I've got kind of a passive, trappy, small betty sort of style, and I'm not sure that's really best suited to the Zoom games. I started playing a bit more aggressive, particularly with draws, like 3-betting hands that can flop draws, check raising or C-bet, 3-bet jamming, kind of like flops draws, and then just basically, if I have equity, just fucking pumping it. And the last session, it was higher variance in terms of spikes in the graph, but it felt better. It was certainly more fun. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week, because I'll show you the graph. Kind of at a couple of points when we've had this like downswing, kind of got a bit fed up with it, thinking, you know, these games are just so fucking reggy. Of course I beat them, there's no denying that I beat them, but it's like, you know, do I want to be playing these games when I just know there's better games I can beat for a better hourly, or do I want to look more at the business side of what I do with poker, as well as just poker playing to make money, and hopefully make like a decent YouTube video and keep things ticking over with getting new students in. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go yet. because clearly this is hurting my bottom line. If we look at the whole month now, because I'm pretty much, oh no, it's the 20th, wasn't it? So if we look back from the 20th when we started this, if we can do that, if it finally gets round to updating, is it going to do it? Just pause while it does. I was clearly setting the filter for the wrong fucking thing because I'm a muppet. We actually just want this month, don't we? I think. Is it this month we want? Oh, we've been doing this for 2 weeks, haven't we? So let's just do a custom last. Does it do days? 14 days. That should work. So we've actually had like a decent 14 days. I mean, if this was where we were at, let's apply this to all reports. And we were getting this win rate with this hourly rate. It's not quite where I want to be. I'd rather that was up by 10. But am I prepared to sacrifice $3 an hour, $200 a month for the benefits of hopefully building the channel, which brings no money in, but also continuing to prove that I'm relevant as a coach, so I can continue to hopefully attract fresh coaching work. And that's like the dilemma in my head. Do I just disappear from these games, play much higher? Well, not much higher, but play a little bit higher, like 20, 30 Sky, 25 Unibet, 30 888. Do I do that, or do I just keep grinding these games, accept slightly low win rate, but hopefully demonstrate that, I mean, this is a lot of fooling when these are so nitty, hopefully demonstrate that I'm the right man to help like losing players, tighten the game up, and devise a strategy that at least gets them winning at poker. At the minute, I'm thinking the latter, but you never know with me. It could easily become the former very quickly. And how close are we getting to the 2,000 hands now? 200,000 hands, sorry, we want the alias, don't we? This brings in all hands and we want to clear the filters. We're getting close to 200,000 hands now. 187,000 hands. And that's looking pretty good, isn't it, overall? Nearly 200,000 hands. EVBB of 6.5 people at 100, which is fucking really good by my own admission. It's really, really good. Look at that fucking rake. $2,600 in rake. That hurts. I could do a lot with $2,600. I really could do a lot with that. Let's apply that to war reports and look at the graph over that time. Again, you can see where the 10NL thing started again. So but you know, most guys would kill. Well, not kill, but they'd be really pleased with a graph like that. All in EV, we know that's fine. That is what it is. Negative red line, but it's not super bad. It's certainly nowhere near super bad, in fact. I don't think. What's that in big blinds? It'd be a better way of looking at the red line. If it's less than 10 big blinds, 100, I'll take it. 180,000 hands, 12,000. So 12,000 big blinds. So my win rate is like. No, so my red line win rate is like less than 10 big blinds 100 by a significant margin. Minus 10 big blinds 100. I'll take that all day. I'm really happy with that red line. Really happy with the green line. We've won whatever that is. 12,000 big blinds or so, is it? Who knows what. But it's a lot of big blinds anyway. We've won a lot of big blinds over a lot. Yeah, about 12,000. So things have gone really, really well this year in terms of my results. In money terms, not as good, but I have been getting coaching work. So there you go. Swings and roundabouts, I guess. There's certainly less pressure playing 10 and L16 and L20 and L on Sky. Less pressure, more fun. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, let's get back to the session. What do we want to do? Let's get back to the video. So we want this one, don't we, after the 20th? Apply it to all reports, because now we're just going to look at like the big pots we played that won and lost in the last week, just because, well, if all the manager lets me. Just because it's fun to look at the bigger stands. So, how do I do this? Well, when holder manager decides to stop doing the blue circle thing, we can get cracking with it. Here we go. So he's going to load them up one at a time and quickly whiz through them. Probably isn't going to be too much to see with most of them. jacks, open. We make a standard 3-bet. He calls, and it's just the old top pair, top kicker versus setting a 3-bet pot deal. Nothing to see here, folks. We just obviously got cooler. Maybe there was slightly something to say on the turn there, was there? So what did we do? We bet the flop. He raised. Yeah, we're not going to fold, of course. Top pair, top kicker. Turn. He checks. So we check. He overbet jams for like 150% pot. Maybe some of you guys could find a fold there, but I certainly can't, especially not against someone with those stats, albeit over a ridiculous sample. Yeah. Could you make a case of folding? I doubt it. Maybe you could, but I didn't, so there we go. Next one. I'm going to guess this is going to be a bit of a set over set deal. Oh yes. He checks, we bet. He min raises, we 3-bet. He calls, which he should probably just fucking jam it in my eye, but never mind. He then bets. We then go all in, which is completely standard, totally fine, no issue with it whatsoever. He obviously calls, and we do not hit the quads. Queen versus kings, blind versus blind. Right, so we've faced a 2.5x open. This is 16 We 3-bet to 10 blinds from the small blind. We've been called 4-bet by someone who I guess had similar stats. Then we might have played more hands after this, but it really looks loose aggressive. Over a small sample. I elected just to call. Not sure I like that. I think I'd probably prefer just to see myself just jam it in his face there. Of course, we would have had the same result. We still would have lost. But I think jamming would probably be better than calling. This is what I said earlier. I sometimes have this like slow play trappy mentality that I like. I like playing that style, but I'm not sure it's better for these games. I think I could certainly be more aggressive in some spots, and this would have been one of them, even though we would still have lost. And then I guess I just call it off. Yeah, again, not in love with this. Could I fold the turn here? Thinking, well, what do we really beat? We've got a club blocker to his draws. I guess. But you're not going to find me telling many people to fold over pairs in 3-bet pots. So this was a called 4-bet pot though. So maybe again this is one we could have got away from. I'm not sure. I think like this one and the ace king, I think both of them could have been escaped from, but I ain't going to beat myself up for like mistakes like that. I'm sure I'm going to find some bigger mistakes that I've made before then. So we open aces under the gun. We get the min or small 4-bet. Small 3-bet. We go with a 3x 4-bet to 21 blinds, which is obviously completely fine. And we get called in 2 spots. He donks, we jam. He calls with his draw. He gets there. Hallelujah. We have jacks and we have flatted. No, we haven't. We have kings, sorry. And there's been a 5x open. Someone's called. We've raised to 140 with pocket kings. I think that's too small given it's been a 5x open. And the guy's looking like he could be a bit of a lunatic, this Donnylan. If I could have my time again, I'd prefer to see me make this kind of like a small 4-bet size, like 180 or something. But whatever, I didn't, so there we go. And then someone flops a set, and we got an SPR off. What's that, 1.5? We're going nowhere. Min donk, call, raise, fold, call. And then we just jam the turn, I guess. Yeah, whatever. He's trapped us. He's trapped us good. Not going to beat myself up for that one either. We're only going to go to the bottom of the page, by the way. We're going to do bottom of the page wins, but losses, bottom of the page wins. And they go queens versus 4-6. How can this possibly go wrong? He opens. We get a 3-bet from the button. I would much prefer to do. Again, this is my being too trappy. I feel I've definitely been too trappy. We should just call 4-bet the queens. This is a mistake for sure. But it is in line with what I said earlier in the video about how I do feel I have been a little bit too slow play and too trappy, and I think I should just fast play more. Nevertheless, we are where we are. We go for the check raise now, I presume. No, we just check call. I'm really being super trappy this hand. I think we should definitely called 4-bet pre. I think we should probably check raise that flop. Although we are very deep with this guy, with Fred. So perhaps check raising versus Fred wouldn't be that great. Because we wouldn't want to be getting it in, that's for sure, this deep. Still think we should have 4-bet pre, but given we didn't 4-bet pre, I think playing the flop for a check call is fine at the stack depths. And then it checks through, and then he gets there with his 4-6, which is we now lead out small for value, probably trying to target a Jack X in either one of these guys' hands. He goes all in. He folds. We obviously call. What do I think of this call? Well, some draws missed, didn't they? Not many, I suppose. Flush draws. Can't really say straight draws missed. Hey. I'd prefer this call if I'd made the bigger bet. I've kind of made this bet, give myself a chance to get away, then fail to get away. We need 29% equity to call here. Again, we could have played this hand better. But, as I said before, no shame in my game. That's 3 of the biggest losing hands we could have played better. No surprise there. If we all look at our losing hands, I'm sure we'll all find the hands we could have played better. Here we have jacks. We have gone for the 3-bet this time. Called 4-bet from a pretty standard looking regular in the big blind, and I hope we just jam the jacks. See, if I call again, I'm going to be not very happy with myself, and we do just jam and we lose. But I'm not unhappy with the way I played it, at least. 3-bet the aces versus the ace king at 4-bet. Now we go for the call. I don't hate the call in this situation at all. Clearly, if I'd known his hand, I probably would just have jammed, but I don't hate the call here. 1-bit, we're in position. We've got like a pretty low SPR going to the flop. It's impossible to misplay it. He checks. We go. Right, okay. I can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to just like reopen the betting so he can just like raise or do something crazy. Because obviously in a 4-bet pot, we're just not at all scared of this board. Maybe he should have made it slightly bigger. I think maybe something in the realms of like quarter pot 120 would have been probably better, I think. But all I wanted to do was reopen the betting. I should have gone slightly bigger though. Our opponent just calls. Returns a red one. We go for the small bet again. I think this is probably a mistake for sure now. It looks very much like he doesn't have ace king. It looks like he's going to have 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, that type of thing. I should just go bigger here. I should have gone slightly bigger on the flop so I could just jam the turn. I've kind of butchered this one a little bit, got a bit too tricky, but again, in line with what I said all through the video. I have been a bit sneaky and trappy this week, and on more than one occasion it's blown up in my face. This will be one of those. All they did is go for the jam, so we got what we wanted. We got him to go for the jam. We called and he got there. Last but not least, pocket queens versus king deuce suited. Fair play. So we've got a raise. Call, please squeeze Reggie. Please squeeze Reggie. Yes, we did. Again, slightly bigger. I think I'd have preferred to go for like a more of a cold 4-bet size, given the size of the open and the call. I would have preferred 18, 19, maybe even 20 blinds here, but probably 18 I think would have been ideal. But we didn't. We are what we are. We get a perfect flop. C-bet. Much happy with that C-bet size this time. Wow, this guy's playing 26-14, but somehow turns up with king deuce. Not sure how that works, but there you go. He calls, turns an 8. He checks. We go all in, which I think is completely standard. He can obviously call with 9s, 10s, jacks. You know, probably not much else, but at the end of the day, what are we going to do? He shouldn't have much 8x in his range. He decides to just call it off with his pair plus draw. And given we lost the pot, we know what happens. He gets there. So, again, how many hands did we look at there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We looked at 9. I think I misplayed 3 of them, which is, you know, it's going to happen when we're looking at all the losing pots, I guess. So, there we go. That's the 9 biggest losing pots of the week. This is going to be more fun because we're going to look at 9 biggest winning pots, but we're going to work from the bottom up this time. So first of all, incredibly standard kings versus queens. He just flats my 4-bet. We make a small c-bet. He calls. I hope we jam the turn. We do jam the turn. He calls, and we win. Enthralling. Here we go, another pair over pair. Much prefer that squeeze size. Pocket 10s call, and the small blind calls, or the button calls, sorry. We get as good a flop as we can hope for. We make a biggish c-bet because when we're c-betting the 2 players, it's way less likely we're bluffing, even though it's still only around 40%. It's bigger because of how big the squeeze was pre, the 10s calls, and the 10s decides he doesn't want to believe us and calls a turn. Another relatively boring hand. This one might be more interesting. We min raise the 8-6 suited. We get 3-bet. We elect to take a flop for 6 blinds more, given we're a little bit deeper, and it's just 6 blinds more anyway. We flop a gut shot. He c-bets. We decide to float, which I guess is okay. Guess we could also raise here. Folding's out of the question, even though his bet is pretty big. Guess I'm kind of thinking if we do hit the 5 and he does have the overpair, then we're going to be golden. It's a bit marginal, but whatever. We do hit the 5, but it's a green one. He checks. We go with the bet. He calls. Board pairs the river. He checks again. This time I'm pretty sure my straight's good, of course. And I elect to go for the whole lot. Just who knows. I didn't think he had 4-5. Obviously, I was kind of more thinking he would have an overpair that's a bit scared or whatever, and maybe call with it. But he decided to make the absolute hero of all hero calls with, well, essentially just 1 pair. I know he has 4s and 5s, but essentially just 1 pair. Good for him, good for us. This one looks a bit more standard. Ace King, we get 3-bet by a pretty standard regular. Get a cold caller, we go with the 4-bet. He calls, and 7-8 decides to come along again. We flop top pair, he looks a flush draw. We just decide to go all in, which I think is completely fine given we've got just over a pot size bet. And he calls it off with just a flush draw. Games are dead. Right, what the fuck's this one all about? Didn't look like we had much in the thing. Anyways, open, call. Given its full ring, I'm on board with a call or a 3-bet here. I don't mind either. We'd like to go with a 3-bet. He calls. I go with the c-bet, which I don't hate. I mean, I would c-bet all my big pairs here, and given it's a full ring table, my range is going to be very heavy with big pairs here and not that many suited connectors. And I can imagine most people's ranges at full ring tables are going to be like overpairs and things. So I think c-betting here is completely fine. Even though it's not a great board for us to do it on, because we don't have that much backdoor equity. We just kind of have 2 overcards and a backdoor straight draw, but nevertheless, I think it's fine to go for it. We turn the gut shot. Before we look at what we did, what would I rather see myself do here? If we check, we have to check fold, which I don't like. We can still put pressure on a lot of his ace highs that have just floated the flop, and maybe he's like small pairs like pocket 4s, pocket 3s, that type of thing. So I think I'd favour us betting again here. I think I'd like to pull out a big gun though. I'd like to pull out at least a 250 to 260 size bet. 199, bit on the small side. He calls again, and we hit gin on the river, and we go all in, and he calls us with his smaller straight. Kind of unlucky for him, but never mind. We'll take it. Aces versus Ace King, and I presume this is just an all-in pre situation. Yep. Enthralling stuff. We're getting up to the bigger ones, guys. We're getting up to the bigger ones. We have the Jack Queen. We open. Ace King just flats the button, which I think's a mistake. I think you should definitely 3-bet. We flop Gin. We C-bet. Pretty big, given that on this board texture, we're not targeting, we're not trying to get calls from pocket 9s, pocket 8s, things like that. We're just kind of going big or going home kind of thing. If no one has anything, if they haven't connected with the board, we're not going to get much action whether we're bet 80 or 45. So just go big into 2 players. Perfect turn. Again, we're going really big. At this point, we've been called by 2 people. Some people, at least one of these guys had something they really like. We don't want to be giving any free cards on this board, which can either kill our hand or kill our action. So just blasting away, I think, entirely appropriate. 2 calls again, and then the board pairs the river again. But I was much less scared of the board pairing the river because A, it wasn't a 3-bet pot, so we can rule out aces and kings a decent amount. I think if someone has a set of 10s, there's a good chance he might have raised before now. And if they got king 10 or ace 10 or something, then fuck my life, basically. We need to go with the jam, because if we check and we get jammed into, we're going to lose anyway, because we're going to call and we're probably going to lose to a full house. So we have to go with the jam and have people call with worse at least sometimes. So we did jam and the ace king paid. Here we have 2 jacks in the hole. We flop an overpair. Bet again. He calls again. I remember this hand, it was interesting. He checks, we bet. He decides to do that, which almost worked, to be completely fair. It almost worked. But I'm a fucking station. And we called, and we dragged down a big one. Yeah, just look at that river again, because there's a lot of money behind. There's like 160 blinds behind here. We bet like decent sized value, but in the river, obviously targeting exactly this type of hand. I don't think you're going to see many people jamming. I mean, I don't know what he's doing here. I mean, is it for value? Is he hoping I'm going to hero him with pocket 8, putting him on like missed straight draws or flush draws? Is it a bluff? Is he trying to get me off exactly the type of hand I have? I don't know, you tell me. But I was clearly in station mode and didn't fold. And this is one that we played today, I believe. In my most recent session, was it? 27th at 0. Yeah, this is in my most recent session. We elect to go for the squeeze with the 8-9 suited from the blinds, which is a little bit loose, but it's something that we all do from time to time. I'm no exception to that. And then we pick up a caller. We flop a top pair. We lead out pretty big, which I'm not sure if I like it or not. I guess I'm just kind of thinking, well, we need to deny a lot of equity on this board. We don't want to give an easy ride to hands that have equity against us, or maybe have us beat at this point. The thing is, if we check, we kind of give it the initiative, things get very difficult for us. It's one of those bets where I'm just betting, and I'm pretty happy just to take it down. And if we don't take it down, then we know we can. If we get raised, we're probably just going to fold. If we get called, we can proceed with caution on the turns. We do get called, and we turn 2 pairs. At this point, I don't really put him on pocket 7s, to be completely honest. I put him on, when he called the flop, I kind of thought more like pocket 10s, pocket jacks, maybe pocket queens, some flush draws, that type of thing. So right now I'm just thinking I didn't think he had pocket 7s. I thought my 8-9 was good. But I checked it because, well, I guess I must have been thinking at the time that even though I think my 8-9's good, he probably isn't going to call with hands like 10s, jacks, that type of thing. Maybe that must have been what I was thinking. I thought I remember the hand better than this. I'm guessing I'm just kind of, I'm guessing I just thought he couldn't really call 2 streets with the worst hand. So I elected to start bluff catching with my hand, which I'm not sure I'm a fan of, but that's what I did. And then we filled up on the river. I like the check there a little bit more. Even though I do think if he did have pocket queens, he'd absolutely check this back now. So maybe it's not so good. I don't know. This hand's kind of flummoxing me as I'm looking it back again. But we went for the check. I guess I'm either hoping he's got pocket sixes or pocket fives or pocket eights or maybe a straight. And maybe some bluffs. I don't know. Maybe checking's best. Once we check call the turn, I think checking the river makes complete sense. He bets pretty fucking big. We jam. He calls. And we drag down a 400 big blind pot. So, yes, very nice. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. We're pretty much done now. Another nice 30-minute or two. It's not by design, purely by an accident. But 30 minutes, nice little number. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed me sharing my progress with you. Who knows what's coming next week? The plan right now is more of the same. But who knows? If we get off to a bad start in the week, I might end up on Triple Eight or Sky or Unibet, who knows. But I'll be coming to a table near you sometime soon, I would imagine. So take care, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll be back again next Monday, if not before. Bye for now.